Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayan Ashwayeshu Pratyamba Bhutase Bhavati Uttama Shruti Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki Krishna Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Nanda Madaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadi Shatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gautase Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna everyone. So we welcome you all for today's morning Bhagavatam class as part of Bhagavat Life program. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 20, titled as Lord Vishnu's Appearance in the Sacrificial Arena. Something happened to the lens? It looks a little strange. Have you changed it? Okay, maybe you got to zoom in. Fine, whatever you think. I'll focus on my discussion. So, what we were talking about? Yeah. So, Lord Vishnu's instructions to Prithu Maharaj, or Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena. Sorry, I got distracted. So here, Lord Vishnu appears. He appears not alone, but he appears along with Indradev. And Lord Vishnu began to instruct Prithu Maharaj about how he should realign himself with the purpose of his life. And the purpose of Prithu Maharaj's life was to establish dharma, which he has done wonderfully. Now, by being adamant to perform the 100th yajna, he was getting distracted from the purpose. Because of his adamancy to perform 100th yajna, Ashmedh yajna, Indra was becoming restless and he was creating adharma again and again. So Lord Vishnu, nonetheless, he clarifies to Prithu Maharaj how we should always have the ultimate purpose in mind. And please know, the main purpose for which you took birth was to establish dharma, and you have done that beautifully. But now today, because of your actions, more adharma is being created. Therefore, let there only be 99th yajna. So some of the things that we discussed, I'll just highlight those key points. So verse 2 teaches the art of divine forgiveness, the importance of forgiving. Then Vishnu began his instruction. In verse number 3, he asked Prithu Maharaj, learn to transcend bodily consciousness. And verse number 4, Lord Vishnu spoke about the dangers of material contamination. Even Prithu Maharaj You are no ordinary person, you are Shakti Avatar, yet you seem to be getting carried away like that. And if in case you get carried away like this by the influence of Maya material energy, then all your advancement may be considered simply a waste of time. So we discussed what it all means. Then verse number 5, Vishnu spoke about Prithu Maharaj become freed from bodily addiction. What was bodily addiction? Not only gross body but also subtle body. Gross body, which means bodily comfort. Subtle body means I want this and I don't want this. The next, in verse number 8, Lord said to Prithu Maharaj, how do we become freed from the bodily addiction? By performing transcendental devotional service. If you continue to engage in devotional service, you'll be able to free yourself from material entanglement. And then next verse number 9, then Vishnu said, Hey Prithu Maharaj, please kindly note, you not only become free from material entanglement, all satisfaction comes from rendering devotional service. And the another side result of performing devotional services, your heart will get totally purified. That was text number 10. And then text number 13, Prithu Maharaj asked, Lord Vishnu asked Prithu Maharaj, this is 12th and 13th verse together, be equipoised and give equal treatment to all. And this is where we had paused yesterday. While in this last verse, I was making a point, for Prithu Maharaj, he might seem like, oh no, how Indra is doing that? I have to perform 100 yajna. So much so, Prithu Maharaj, the assembly of Brahmanas, they were so determined to perform and complete the 100 yajna, they were willing to kill Indra. And if while Prithu Sen was not successful in that way, so Brahmana said, we'll chant the mantras and kill Indra. So that was their kind of determination. So here in text number 13, Lord Vishnu told Prithu Maharaj, give up this, or don't be mental. Give up this overthinking. You're too overthinking, or you're too much thinking, either way. This is all your mental actions. I read the translation. My dear heroic king, please keep yourself always equipoised and treat people equally, whether they are greater than you in the intermediate stage or lower than you. Do not be disturbed by temporary distress or happiness. Fully control your mind and senses. In this transcendental position, try to execute your duty as a king in whatever condition of life you may be posted by my arrangement. So we discussed 5 points. And finally, your duty is to give protection to the citizens of your kingdom, which you have done very nicely. So these were the instructions. Let's continue. There are 2 more verses of instruction. Text number 14. Shreya prajapalaname varajno Yasam paraya sukrita sastam amsham Hartan yata hit punya prajanam Arakshita karuharu agham atti. It's a very important instruction. Is about spiritual leadership and responsibility spiritual leadership carries. So what Lord Vishnu is saying, if the king manages the praja properly, then in his next life he gets 1/6 of their karma, the piety. So king also gets the benefit. If in case king is not able to manage his praja properly, does not engage his praja properly, and if they engage in sinful activities, the king also gets the reaction for it. So it's not only in guru-disciple relationship, when somebody takes initiation, then the guru gets the karma of the disciple. It's any responsibility when you're taking for anyone. That kind of thing is mentioned. Reading the translation. To give protection to the general mass of people who are citizens of the state is a prescribed occupational duty for a king. By acting in that way, the king in his next life shares 1/6 of the result of the pious activities of the citizens. But a king or executive head of state who simply collects taxes from the citizens but does not give them proper protection as human beings has the results of his own pious activities taken away by the citizens. And in exchange for his not giving protection, he becomes liable to punishment for the impious activities of his subjects. So again, I wish to clarify, this is not only in guru-disciple relationship, this is in any and every relationship where leadership is involved. One example is of the king. What is another example? Where you get the reaction of what your dependent does. Similarly, is in the relationship of parent and a child. Just like in the 7th canto, we see if a child becomes a pure devotee, he delivers 21 generations. And similarly, whatever the child performs, the reaction goes to parents also. So that's about leadership. So spiritual leadership is a very, very important subject matter. And that is what being highlighted here. So now if you see from this context, that is the reason I've said this point many times, again, just to highlight this concept of spiritual leadership. This was the only purpose, one of the prominent purposes, I'm not saying only purpose, well, we can say only purpose, why this whole war of Kurukshetra happened. Sometimes people draw this unrealistic parallel between Ramayana and Mahabharata. And they say, see, Kekai wanted Lord Ram to go to the forest, Dashrath didn't wanted Ram to go, yet Ram went to the forest. Because Kekai wanted and Dashrath had given the commitment like that. So if Ram personally could go to the forest, then why in his Krishna avatar was he asking Pandavas to return back to the kingdom? Dhritarashtra was the king and Pandavas were supposed to follow. Dhritarashtra was the caretaker father in one sense for the Pandavas. And if that personality is asking Pandavas to remain in the forest, if Lord Ram in his tenure as Lord Ram followed the instruction of the king and the father, while Lord Ram as Lord Krishna is now telling Pandavas to go back to the kingdom, what will be your answer? I have discussed this point in the past also, isn't it? It's a valid question. Those who really think out loud, they draw this kind of it. So what will be your answer? Then I'll come to the point which I wanted to make from this verse. This is an extremely important chapter. Ahead we're going to read some fantastic prayers of Prathu Maharaj. Again, some very important instruction in terms of our Vaishnava dealings. But before we go ahead, so first of all, what I'm trying to say, I'm not planning to finish the chapter. I'll just cover a few verses because I don't want to really rush through. I myself want to discuss and relish what we are speaking here. So, how do you answer this question? Hey Prabhu, imagine if Dhritarashtra had to tell Krishna, hey Prabhu, why have you come here as a messenger? And when we are requesting you to ask Pandavas to go to the forest, you are demanding kingdom from us. Don't you remember in your previous incarnation? When Dashrath Maharaj, although he fulfilled the request of Kekai, but he was telling you not to go. But yet you went because that was the instruction of the king. We had to keep, the dignity of the king by following the instruction. I am also the king. You should follow the instruction. And now you yourself should instruct. When you can follow, why can't you instruct your disciples or students to go and follow and go to the forest? So, let's see first of all, anyone from online. Okay, Mother Preeti Radha, what's your claim? This camera has been kept too much it's too dark. Can be brought in front? For a reason. Somebody is speaking?
Krishna, am I audible?
Yes. Now you're very much audible.
Oh, sorry. Now, what I can think of is that Ram went to Vanvas for dharma sthapana, putra dharma का पालन करने के लिए, because as you said, parents का बच्चों को करना पड़ेगा. And here Krishna wanted Yudhishthira and all come back to again do dharma sthapana.
Okay, fine, valid. Thank you, Mother. Anything else? Anyone from here? We'll take one in pro online. Yes, Pajani Prabhu.
Guruji, he had Bharat Maharaj there who can keep the kingdom nicely.
So we've discussed this point before. The difference is, in the absence of Lord Ram, who was supposed to take care of the kingdom? Bharat Maharaj. In the absence of Pandavas, who was supposed to take care of the kingdom? Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. So you can't draw parallel between Bharat and Dhritarashtra. Okay, we can't draw parallel. But why can't you draw parallel? What was wrong with Duryodhana's leadership? Have you read anything that Duryodhana did not act properly when it comes to taking care of Praja? It's not that he didn't build highways. He was not providing enough water supply. There was regular electricity cut. Taxation was too high. They were jobless. These are the modern day problems. People talk about it. The government was too corrupt, etc. Do you ever have come across any incident in Mahabharata where Duryodhana and party was doing like this? So if they were not doing like this, then why Lord was no? I mean, from one point of view, from today's point of view, Duryodhana was doing pretty good. He would have had a stable government all his life. But why Krishna wanted Yudhishthira, even at the cost of deaths of crores of people? Why he wanted Yudhishthira to be the king? The answer is this verse: spiritual leadership. The reason is because he could have established Varnashrama Dharma and he would have kept people accountable and responsible. That was the weakness of Duryodhana. Because he himself was not accountable, neither responsible. In terms of providing basic necessities, he was doing fair enough job. So much so, when he had performed that Vaishnava Yajna, just to compete with the Yajna, Rajasi Yajna performed by Yudhishthira by that time, after which he wanted to please his praja. He literally emptied all his treasury. He distributed wealth. Why? He thought, if I distribute wealth, people will vote me only. Something like what Kejriwal would do. Free ration, free bus ride, etc., etc. This all coming same parampara. So the only reason why Krishna wanted to pick Yudhishthira Maharaj because he was responsible, accountable. Similarly, he will make his praja responsible and accountable. And that is a point which was mentioned here. So leadership, what we are discussing here is spiritual leadership. So when leadership is taught, it is not only guru disciple, it's not only guru accepts the karma, it is even the king accepts the karma, even the parents gets the karma. That's the whole idea. That's how the leadership is an important thing. There could be a variation in terms of how much karma in respective responsibility you get it, but that's what is mentioned. So Prabhupada talks about subtle laws and things. You can read the purport, beautiful purport here. All right. Prabhupada writes in the last paragraph of the purport. The same principle, the principle discussed in the verse, can be applied to parents and spiritual masters as well. If parents simply give birth to children like cats and dogs, but cannot save the children from imminent death, they become responsible for the activities of their animalistic children. I don't know if you have come across, I have come across several cases where a particular child is giving a lot of trouble. No, that's a different scenario. Let's not get into that. Okay, but you got the point here. So karmic reaction flows in any and every role of leadership like that. Let's go to text number 15. So that was about spiritual leadership and responsibility. So the lesson is, all of us, at least those who are married, they are parents, they have to take responsibility to their family members, both of their physical and spiritual well-being. And in case of spiritual life, spiritual teachers or leaders, they share the spiritual merit of their students. That's how it works out. Text number 15. Lord Vishnu continued, my dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens, for example, remember Ramanujacharya? When Quraysh could speak to Varadraj Swami, not Varadraj Swami, Balaji, Srirangam. Varadraj Swami. No, he used to speak before when he was blinded. And then Ramanujacharya said, well, go to the Lordship and ask him for the eyes. So 3 times. First of all, he asked for the deliverance of those who had blinded him, like that. So there, Ramanujacharya, when he gets to know, Godhead. No, sorry, he asked that, something like that on that line was that he'll go back home back to Godhead. So Ramanujacharya began to dance. And disciple asked, why are you dancing? If my disciple gets to go back home back to Godhead, I will also get some credit, na? I will also get it. So you see that? So somehow please don't restrict that into that only one relationship. Our whole understanding of Guruship is very complicated in our scenario. because lack of discussion on this subject. It's all across all leadership role. And same thing Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said, even if I can have one disciple who becomes fully Krishna conscious, Prabhupada said, it's better to have one moon than many stars. That's the point. That's the subject matter text number 14. So we all bear responsibility towards each other, like that. Text number 15. Lord Vishnu continued, my dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession, by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principle laid down by them, without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy, will love you, and very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanananda, and Sanat Kumar. So these are one of the concluding instruction of Vishnu now. So what is it saying? At all times, at all places, follow authorized guidance. We discussed about this point yesterday also, how important it is to work under guidance. So follow authorized guidance. That's the point here. And what will be the results? Your praja will be happy, they will love you, and you will get association of more elevated personalities. You will have more sadhu sangha when you begin to follow sadhu sangha. Text number 16. So in terms of family life, how this verse talks about in terms of following the instructions, and your praja would love you. So in other words, creating a Krishna conscious environment and atmosphere at home. As Srila Prabhupada taught, the house should be an ashram, grahastha ashram, and everyone should engage in serving the Lord. That's like we can do it in family life, and spiritual life we have to follow. At least there should be one person, I often say that, there should be one person in our life. We can say, yes sir. No argument, no discussion, nothing. I'm not saying you have to just immediately find anyone from the road. You can take your time, but you have to come to some situation in life at some point of time where you can just say, yes sir, I do whatever you say, sir. That's what Arjuna said. Krishna said, Yatha ichchasi tatha karu. Arjuna said, Krishna, I will do whatever you say. So some point of time in our life, in devotional life, we have to come, because unless we come to that situation, we'll always be tricked by our mind. We'll always be dominated by our mind. The mental concoction will continue, speculation will continue, and our confidence on what I feel and I think will never go away. So there has to be some point of time in our life, at least that should be our ambition, that at least we should, if not, at least pray to the Lord. Please give me that association, or give me that intelligence, give me that quality of surrender, where I can, in one relationship, somehow we hypothetically assume that is going to be in relationship to spiritual master, or that is going to be in relationship to the Lord, which is fantastic, true. But even in relationship to spiritual master, if it has to happen, it's going to be very difficult, because the mind is uncontrolled. It will not adhere. Again, when it adheres, when it follows, when it sounds sweet to us. And when it sounds sweet to us, the other person is also singing the same melody as our mind is singing. We want to hear the same thing, then it sounds sweet. Otherwise it's not. So here, text number 16, Krishna says, Vishnu says, follow authorized guidance. And then comes the final pinnacle verse. So 15, 16 verse, because these are the penultimate verse of Vishnu's instructions, they become extremely important. So 15th instruction is follow bona fide guidance, and 16th is what pleases Krishna. What pleases Krishna? What are your thoughts? Of course, I spoke about it yesterday while giving an overview of the chapter. What pleases Krishna? What pleases Guru Maharaj? What pleases Vaishnavas? If you remember yesterday's point, don't share that. Who don't remember from yesterday, only then you try. Anyone online? What pleases Guru Gauranga? So you're not saying anything from what you heard yesterday, right? You're not reflecting. Okay, go ahead, Manoj.
So the behavior, attitude and relationship with the devotees.
Yeah. our attitude, our character, our behavior is what pleases. Any reference for Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says so? Krishna clearly says what pleases me in Bhagavad Gita. Where he says so? Yeah. 12th chapter, verse 13 to 12. Is all about devotional qualities. Literally, those 26 qualities have been summed up in Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna said, this is what pleases me. Let's take a look at text number 16. Varam chamatkan chanamana. All of you have the verse? Text number 16. Varam chamatkan chanamana.
Varam chamatkan chanamana.
Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita.
Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita.
Are we sharing verses online? Otherwise, you can give right to Mother Medhavnish.
No, I was sharing.
She's
Now
quick.
it is working slowly.
So then we can have somebody else to support. The devotees can participate. All right. Varam chamatkan chanamana manavendra.
Varam chamatkan chanamana.
Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita.
Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita.
Naham makhirvai sulabhastapobhe. Yogena vayat samachittavarti. Varam chamatkan chanamana. Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita. Nam akhirvai sulabhastapobhe. Yogena vayat samachittavarti. Varam chamatkan chanamana. Vishnashvateham gunashila yantrita. Naham akhirvai sulabhastapobhe. Yogena vayat samachittavarti. What a beautiful verse. Please try to memorize if everyone can do that. So, Varam chamatkan chanamana. So, referring to Prathu Maharaj, Manavendra, a chief among human beings. Vrashnashvate aham gunashila yantritaha. What pleases me? Vrashnashvate aham gunashila yantritaha. Gunashila, elevated qualities. Yantritaha is to get captivated. What captivates me or I get captivated by is the elevated qualities. Naham akhirvai sulabhastapobhe yogena vayasamachittavati. Naham. I am not influenced or captivated by someone's sacrifices. Hare Krishna. I am not captivated or influenced or attracted by somebody's sacrifices or tapasya. Makhe sulabhas. I am not easy to obtain through makhe, through tapa or yogena. Like this. What attracts me is only gunashila. Translation. My dear King, I am very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. And thus I am very favorably inclined toward you. You may therefore ask me from any benediction you like. One who do not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifices, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. By always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. Beautiful purport. Prabhupada highlights 26 qualities. We'll read those 26 qualities in a short while. The first few lines of the purport. Lord Vishnu was very pleased with Maharaj Prithu's good character and behavior and offered him a benediction. The Lord openly says that performing great sacrifices, one of the sacrifices, Sankirtan Yajna. So to think we can please Krishna by our chanting is also part of your yajna, okay? It's not Krishna says, I'm pleased by that. Sacrifices or undergoing austerities of mystic yoga practice cannot satisfy me. He is pleased only by elevated character and behavior. Can you think of examples from Bhagavatam where Krishna was pleased, Lord was pleased? We have evidence that yes, this is what attracted the Lord, and Lord says again. Prachetas. Prahlad Maharaj, no doubt about it. In case of Prahlad Maharaj, fine. He's a pure devotee, have all the wonderful qualities, all that kind of. And okay, we can put it this way. You see all the example of great devotees, they'll be exemplary in their conduct, their behavior like that. You can't have somebody who's chanting very nicely and little rogue in his behavior. That balance is not there. They all have a very high quality. So what pleases me is Guna Shila. You can remember this. Guna Shila Yantrita. What captivates Krishna is Guna Shila. So as I was making a point yesterday, and probably before also, when we are in Vaishnava community in our dealings, if in case our false ego kicks in and we're getting agitated, how do we pacify it? Then you can remind yourself, would my conduct, my words or action please Guru and Gauranga? Would it please Vaishnavas? And here's an evidence. Gunashila Yantrita. It's not going to please. If I argue, if I debate, if I speak loudly, if I become egoistic, then what should I do? Just like Prithu Maharaj did. And what Vishnu asked Prithu Maharaj? Let go. Let go. So be it. Your 100 kirgyat does not make any difference to me. Maybe it makes difference to you because you consider it to be important. But in your relation to me, it does not make a difference. What makes a difference is if you let go. Maintain harmony. That's the point. And again, Prabhupada said, your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate. And Prabhupada said after that, of course, cooperation is very difficult in Kali Yuga. So that's the struggle while in Vaishnava community we have to deal with. So what are the 26 qualities? Prabhupada mentions in the purport. These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed as follows. Kind to everyone. These are all, maybe when we will be, as part of Bhakti Vaibhav, we'll discuss elaborately these 26 qualities and practice what it means. I'll just read out right now. We'll not have so much time. I'll maybe touch upon briefly here right now. Kind to everyone, does not quarrel with anyone, fixed in the absolute truth, equal to everyone, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple. What does simple means? It also means straightforward. Simple heart. Doesn't keep no duplicity. Benevolent, peaceful. Peaceful, how peaceful is described? Peacefulness is not externally, it's a state of mind. 17th chapter, verse number 16. What is that? Manha prasada saumyatam. That is the idea of peacefulness. Completely attached to Krishna. Has no material hankering. So what it means, no material hankering in our context, we don't act. We would have, but we don't act to fulfill it. We tolerate, as Prabhupada purport to 17th chapter, verse number 16 says. Meek, which means humble, polite. Steady, fixed, determined in his devotional practice. What he says, he does. That's also truthful means. Self-controlled, does not eat more than required. Sane, which means has common sense. आज sane का मतलब वही है. Who is insane would lack even basic common sense. Respectful, humble, grave. Grave means gravity of thought. Doesn't mean you don't smile. Compassionate, friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. So if in case somebody wants to learn more about it, there's a beautiful book by His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj on 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. You can refer to that. But us, when we'll come to our study of Bhakti Vaibhav on this subject matter, we'll have detailed discussion only on 26 qualities because we have not touched upon it so far. Okay, let me give you one case study just to see how would you react. and then we'll have some idea of these qualities. So Prabhupada writes, just to conclude, the same thing Prabhupada what he writes here, he writes in the 12th chapter, I believe to the 19th or the 20th verse. The Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendental qualities of the living entity and not by artificial performance of sacrifices in mystic yoga. Let me ask this question to you. What would be the focus of Kanishta Adhikari? He'll be more ritualistic. Yes or no? He'll be more focusing on ritualistic means he'll be more focusing on practicing this. But he'll not focus on conduct. These all are the symptoms of Madhyama Adhikari. Becoming conscious, what should be my conduct? I'm saying this all is the conduct of Madhyama. Becoming conscious of being how I deal, how I behave. Kanishta, for him, it does not matter. Why? For him, it is only in relationship to the Lord. Na tad bhakteshu dineshu. He got nothing to do with bhaktas like that. So the Lord is satisfied by development of the transcendent qualities of living entity and not by artificial performance or sacrifice in Mr. Yoga. In other words, unless one is fully qualified to become pure with Lord, one cannot expect to be liberated from material entanglement. So in other words, we can say this way. If we are becoming Madhyama Adhikari, we are developing these qualities. Unless we develop these qualities, you cannot become Madhyama Adhikari. I'm not saying to the full extent, but at least to have some, to develop to some extent, so at least we are able to deal properly in the Vaishnava dealings. What is the quality of Madhyama Adhikari? Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha. How would you do it if you don't have it? Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha is not only towards the Lord, but the full levels of relationship. Prema is for the Lord as well as for the devotees. Kripa, Kripa for those who are innocent. Maitri towards the same like-minded, again, devotees. And Upeksha, maintaining a distance, who are envious. These are all the function of Madhyama Adhikari like that. So let me give you one case study, and of course, discussing this case study in the class would be different because all of us response will be more holier than what we could be. But let's talk about it. Let's see what are the possibility of it. Two things happen. We, as a part of our sadhana, as part of our practice, we become too attached to the idea of our activities, sadhana, and second is to the results. I remember there was one devotee who I knew very well, I will not name him. Anytime you ask him, out of 24 hours, anytime you ask him, even if you wake him up in the middle of the night and ask him, Prabhu, there is some service, can you do? He had a one set response, Prabhu, meri mala reh gayi hai. He was like Haridas Thakur follower. I had tried him on 24 hours, every time zone possible on earth. He always had one standard response, Prabhu, meri mala reh gayi hai. Mala khatam karke, main aata hu. So he was probably, go ahead. He was probably inspired by the pastime of Haridas Thakur. But he forgot the application of that pastime. That was to Maya Devi, to a prostitute. And here he will tell to devotees. Anyways, okay. So I was saying about this aspect of, my sadhana. Or some people cry for that. And other people for the results. What should I say? Okay. We had an example of it, so I'm just sharing that. I will not name anyone here. I'll just share because that was one practical experience. Imagine this is a book marathon going on, December marathon, and you've gone out to get a school permission. And that school have almost 4,000 students. And it's an English medium school, 4,000 students, the principal is extremely favorable, and the principal says, yes, you can go and make class announcements, you can make assembly announcements, and it has 4,000 students. Out of 4,000 students, let's say almost more than 2,000, 3,000 students are of your need. You're going to approach 3,000 students. Based on our past experience, with 3,000 students, how much book distribution you can expect? Some random, quickly.
400, 800.
Let's say 500 to 1,000. If it is first time, 5,000 to 500 to 1,000. Wow, that's a huge score to get 500 to 1,000 like this. And plus, then there is a second advantage, side advantage, preaching opportunity. Because you get the contact of the family, you can preach so much. If not, out of 1,000 families, 1,000 families you're touching. If it is 1,000 books, out of 1,000 families, kuch log to judenge. Okay. And imagine, now you get a call from another devotee. Prabhu, we had already taken permission from the school. The principal did not realize that we are from two different ISKCON. Because for him, ISKCON is one. And he thought you are our representative, and therefore this person gave permission to you. But actually that permission was meant for us. Prabhu, what is the proof? Are, we had already spoken to the owner. Owner have told us. Only we could not meet the principal. In the meantime, you met the principal. So now you got the permission. So but this permission belongs to us because we approached the owner. Owner told us. But Prabhu, you went to owner, but we went to principal. Principal told us. So there could be permutation combination. What to do? And that devotee is not willing to budge. Prabhu, no. Can there be 50-50? No 50-50. 100% my quota. You're out of it. You're not going to come here. So you can think about it and think what should be the conduct, what should be the response to it. Maybe at the end of the session we'll take it. Let's move forward. The case study is still open for you to ponder. Text number 17. So how did Prithumaharaj react to Lord Vishnu's instruction? Maitri Vacha Saitam Loka Garuna Vishwakshena Vishwajit Anushashit Adesham Sirasa Jagare Hare. The great saint Maitri continued, my dear Vidura, in this way Maharaj Prithu, the conqueror of the entire world, accepted the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on his head. Okay, so how to accept instructions? Prabhupada is a very beautiful purport. Have you seen sometimes? People say, Haji, sun liya humne. You know, so it may appear as if they have accepted, but they have not accepted. So what accepting instructions means? Any thoughts to it? Prabhupada defines what accepting instructions means. Yes, approve and prove. What accepting instructions means?
Accepting instruction means follow on those instructions, whatever solution has been given and whatever correction has been given. So if you are working on that, then you have heard it.
What is the proof that you're going to follow it? You may, that person at his level may think, I'm following it. I understood this way. I'm following it. You said like this. I heard only this much.
So that following also should be checked with if you are thinking that this instruction I'm following in this way. So you can check with then and there itself that I'm planning to execute your instructions in this particular. Is it okay? Then
okay. What else?
Repeat that in a humble mode.
Repeat in humble mode. All right. This is a common mistake that I have seen our devotees do. And even despite repeated feedback on improvement, somehow our people don't improve. I've seen this often. Let's see what Prabhupada says here. We say we're following, but we hardly follow. We are so much caught up with our mind. One should accept the instructions of the Lord by bowing down at the lotus feet of the Lord. All right. This means that anything spoken by the Lord should be taken as it is. So how? With great care. What does care means? It means attention to details. Yes? But it means you just don't do. मैंने कर तो दिया, आपने बोला था. But it means attention to details. I'll give example as long as Radhanath Maharaj. This was shared by Bamsi Gopal Prabhu. Bamsi Gopal Prabhu was, when he was, I believe he was a scientist here in DRD or something. DRD was there, right? Or there's something in Baner. Yeah. Or something other. ISER. I believe he was at ISER. He was working there on some position. So he had organized a program for Maharaj. And the director or somebody had come. So when the program ended, this is in one of his offering, Vyaspuja offering, Bamsi Gopal was sharing. He said, so when the program, I introduced director to Maharaj. It was a very important personality. I introduced him to Maharaj and all that. So then this director took permission from Maharaj to leave. So Maharaj called me and he said, all right, please escort him and make sure he has got a cab or car and he is properly left. So all right, Bamsi Gopal Prabhu thought, what's a big deal? Director आया अपने आप पे चला जाएगा अपने आप, मुझे क्या करना है? So he casually walked and Maharaj noted. So Maharaj was surrounded by devotees and he left all of them. He went out to see. Now Bamsi Gopal Prabhu have heard and he is walking. You know, we say we are doing service. He's casually walking. And he went there and he was just thinking, ठीक है, director है, वो, you know, this is 20-25 years ago. So he didn't have a car or something. So maybe अपनी गाड़ी बुलाएगा, गाड़ी आ जाएगी, कैब में बैठेगा, चले जाएगा, मुझे क्या करना है? So he went and asked director, so you got a car? He said, yes, I've called the cab is coming, and I will go. So Vamsi Prabhu, he talked to him, and he was coming back, and he met Maharaj on the way. Maharaj asked, did the director left? The Vamsi Prabhu said, I was wondering, why is he so interested in his director? Chala jayega? What's the big deal? Maharaj asked him again, has the director left? He said, no, Maharaj, he is standing outside. So Maharaj asked him, what are you doing here? And he was totally confused. Did you hear what I asked you to do? And he was totally clueless. Maharaj repeated, I asked you to see him off. Make sure he leaves from here peacefully. And then it struck him what exactly Maharaj meant. You see what it means by we hear something and something has been said, and then we do half-heartedly, and then he went back. Not only he, Maharaj went back. Maharaj stood along with that. I believe this director was a lady probably. That was one of the concerns. And then Maharaj went there. He personally waited for the cab to come. This person sat in the cab, and this person disappeared. When the cab disappeared, that's the time Maharaj came back. Now, when Maharaj said, see him off, do you understand what it means? But what we understand see him off is in our own way, how we will see him off. Therefore, great care means going to. So there Bhakti Gopal was saying, Maharaj has been from the beginning so attentive to details. Because if you're not attentive, Maharaj says, this is Maharaj's statement, love means attention to details. Isn't it? Like mother, when she loves a child, how much she, the way the child behaves and conducts, mother understands what child wants. Maybe the father may not understand. He may be clueless, but the mother understands because that's the nature of love. So theoretically we may know, but what is in your practice, it matters. So we may know we do this and do that. Do you really do that? You just continue with your own mind. So with great care means understanding what is the thing meant and clarify what exactly Prabhu you want. Seeing him off means what? Please clarify. That is great care. Attention, which means hearing the full thing. Another thing I have seen is half of the information is lost only. In fact, at times, most of the information, because again, we are so consumed by our own mental chatterbox now, we just cannot listen. We are so poor in listening. So great care and attention, and with great respect. So one quality of improving listening skill is having a respect. If we'll have a respect, then we'll listen attentively. Why we are poor in listening, or I would put it this way, those who are poor in listening are showing disrespectful attitude. They are subtly proving they have no respect. Think about it. You are sitting in a meeting with your manager, or let's say with the CEO of your company, and there is a couple of people sitting on the table. You are having your smartphone and you are fiddling with your smartphone. Imagine you are the CEO, you are speaking, and there is a board meeting going on with 5-6 people. You are speaking to the people, you are the CEO, and this fellow is fiddling with his smartphone. What does it mean? Do you agree? Disrespect? No listening skills means disrespect. So these are the ways, these are the subtle ways you can understand. And therefore, again I said, don't doubt why a leader is behaving like this. Why a leader is giving more attention to somebody and not paying less attention to another person. This is the subtle signs. You may externally show how disciplined I am, how sincere I am, I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to do that seva. But actually, your behavior and conduct is good enough for one who knows the science to understand what's going on with your mind. So listening is one of the signs. When you have a respect, you will naturally be attentive. When you don't have a respect, you will not. Classic example, Arjuna. Hare Krishna, Hare. Can we just mute everyone? Whose phone is ticking here? If you can just put it silent. What was I saying? Just take the case of Krishna and Arjuna Samvad. Until Arjuna accepted Krishna to be a spiritual master, Shishyasyam sadhiman tvam prapannam, He was taking Krishna's words casually, as a friend. But when he said, no, now you're my teacher, then Krishna also changed the course of discussion. Now see, the same Krishna went to Hastinapur. Did Duryodhana hurt Krishna? Did Dhritarashtra hurt? If they would have heard, they would have seen it's their own interest. Why to get into a fight? They want 5 villages only, na? But they never heard. Why? Listening follows if you have respect. Or respect follows listening. If you have respect for other, you would listen. I hope you get the sense of it. These are subtle things. I'm just sharing this. I know that I could be the victim of it. Now you'll play with that with me. But it will help you improve your conduct and behavior. So therefore I'm sharing this aspect of it, how it functions. It is not our business to amend the words. Okay, that's what the purport is, okay, about that. So great care, attention, and with great respect. Text number 8. Therefore I said, we say we are following. Actually not following. We are following our mind only. We want to do things by how we want to do it. There is neither care, there is no attention. Because respect is missing. Why? At Kanishta, this is what happens in Kanishta. Kanishta has so much confidence on himself. Madhyama will have no confidence. Now, if you see from the mundane point of view, and if you have to read, let's say, Prabhupada's that bhajan, what is that? Markina Bhagavat, right? If you read that bhajan, from a materialistic point of view, you will feel like as if Prabhupada have no qualification. He is saying, I am like a dog. I am entirely dependent on your mercy. Yes or no? From material qualification, from materialistic point of view, this man who has written a song has no qualification. But actually that is the highest qualification in devotional life. So as we are Kanishta, we have so much confidence on our skills and abilities. The advanced we are more dependent. And therefore our listening skill improves, our sadachar, our Vaishnava dealing, everything improves. And you can think about this, what I'm saying more deeply, about those who you think are advanced. You see them, how obedient they are. Just like I gave an example of somebody had done something very unlawful, and when the spiritual master said, all right, just shift him. Although this leader was so agitated, but did not say anything, he said, okay, yes, Guru Maharaj. So how much it may not fit into our mental sphere or our paradigm, but he said, no, I have to follow, like that. That's the whole idea about it. So our advancement, so good leader is one who has been a good follower. What do you mean by good follower? So these are things easy to speak, to claim that I know. But why don't we sometimes reflect? Am I have any of it in our life? What I'm speaking? So what's the point of theory if I don't practice? Text number 18. This is again fantastic verse. How to adjust rivalry without difficulty. In other words, you have offended somebody. How to sort it out. This verse talks about how to sort it out in a Vaishnava style. Sparshantam padayo premna vriditam svena karmana shatkrutam parisvajaya vidvesham visasarjaha. So we say devtas are sense gratified. Devtas, generally that's how the Kanishta sees. Now this was, you will see the greatness of Devta. Which Devta? Who we generally pick? Indradev. You will see his greatness. As King Indra was standing by, he became ashamed of his own activities and fell down before King Prithu to touch his lotus feet. Can you imagine how great Indra? Remember the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita? I draw 3 lessons from Shishyasya Sadiman Tvam Prapanam verse. And one of the lessons was, Arjuna accepted his weakness. Krishna did not tell what is weakness. Of course, Krishna indicated prior to that, it doesn't suit you, you're acting like a eunuch, etc. But he accepted his weakness. Karpanye doshopahata svabhava. And there the very first lesson I drew, Arjuna was genuinely humble. Only a humble person will accept his weakness. You see this, Indra, here? Although everyone have instructed whom to change, Prithu Maharaj, nobody has said anything to Indra. Brahmaji did not say anything to Indra. Vishnu did not even said anything to Indra. He just brought. But who fell at the feet? I mean, now if you see how the storyline is going on, so it looks like Prithu Maharaj is becoming adamant. Prithu Maharaj is a mistake. Prithu Maharaj should not have done that. Prithu Maharaj should not have tried to kill Indra. That's a grave offense. Who should have fallen at the feet? But based on this storyline, Prithu Maharaj seems like Prithu Maharaj. But who fell at the feet? He's a very exalted personality. Very exalted. He fell at the feet. And how did Prithu Maharaj respond? Prithu Maharaj immediately embraced him in great ecstasy and gave up all envy against him for his having stolen the horse meant for the sacrifice. Fantastic puppet. So first thing, humility is not a weakness, humility is a strength. Why we still fear of humility? Because we are still too much into material consciousness. Even in Vaishnava community, we fail to act humble, or we fail to accept our weakness because we are so much caught up with either bodily consciousness or too much caught up with our own conditioning, thinking that if I accept a weakness, मेरी लज्जा का, मेरी प्रतिष्ठा का, समाज में क्या होगा? And like that, foolishly we keep on defending our weaknesses as if that's our strength. So there are many cases in which a person becomes an offender to the lotus feet of Vaishnava, later becomes repentant. Here also we find that all the king of heaven, and that was so powerful that he accompanied Lord Vishnu, he felt himself a great offender. An offender at the lotus feet of Vaishnava is never excused by the Lord. There are many instances illustrating this fact. Ambrish Maharaj example, etc. Next paragraph. Indra decided to fall down at the lotus feet of King Prithu. But the king was so magnanimous, a Vaishnava, that he did not want Maharaj Indra to fall down at his feet. Now you can measure your level of ego here. Even if you have realized you have done a mistake and you have offended another devotee, how difficult it is for us to even go and confess. I'm sorry, Prabhu, I made a mistake. Actual Vaishnava Sadachara, at least what we brahmacharis are supposed to follow, at least with brahmacharis and even in the devotee community, the best way to repent is if you have committed a mistake, and by Lord's mercy, because to understand I made a mistake, you need mercy of the Lord. That's not your credit. If you realize by the mercy of the Lord, go and offer obeisances first. Because you cannot be forgiven unless you're genuinely humble. You go and say, okay, गलती हो गई थी, समझ आ गया है, हो सके तो माफ कर देना, ठीक है? All right. I mean, वो व्यक्ति और गुस्सा खा जाएगा. Imagine if you go and do like this. So both King Indra and Maharaj Prithu were envious and angry with each other. Prithu Maharaj also, because killing, killing is, so much. But since both of them were Vaishnavas or servants of Lord Vishnu, it was their duty to adjust the cause of their envy. This is also a first-class example of cooperative behavior between Vaishnavas. In the present days, however, people are not Vaishnava, they fight perpetually among one another and are vanquished without finishing the mission of human life. And then Prabhupada says the importance of Krishna consciousness. So how did Prithu Maharaj react? Text number 19. So let me just see. So the titles for these verses, because it's a very important chapter. So text number 17 title is Humble Acceptance of Divine Guidance. So Prithu Maharaj humbly accepted the divine guidance like that. So the application, I'm just revising the application point here. When receiving guidance from scriptures, gurus or mentors, we should accept it with complete humility rather than ego-driven resistance. Make spiritual instructions a foundation of decision making and not just philosophical concepts. Don't be just jnani. When we make decisions in life, it should also be driven on spiritual instructions. Like that. I will not be able to start with prayers because these are very beautiful prayers. So let's a little bit reflect on these 2-3 verses. Well, we have discussed this point already. So text number 18 talks about the art of immediate forgiveness. So we talked about the art of forgiveness when Vishnu told the importance of forgiveness. Here in this verse highlighted is the art of immediate forgiveness. When we forgive others, how we fix our heart, we purify our heart, and we also uplift everyone around us. That's the point. So forgiveness purifies the heart, and it also attracts, very important, it attracts the divine mercy more than anything. That's the important thing. Forgiveness attracts mercy. We'll see that in the following verses. Leaders who forgive, they create environment of trust like that. And there are more things. ठीक है. That's the thing. Alright. Text number 19, we have not read, right? So we'll take 3 verses, 19, 20, 21, 22, they're together. Yeah. So let's take these 4 verses and rest everything else we'll take it later on. These 4 verses are together. Text number 19. Bhagavan ata vishvatma prutuno pratarthanah samajjihanaya bhaktaya grihita charanambujaha. So this is about Prithu Maharaj worshipping the Lord and receiving the blessings from the Lord. So this is in the context of the 18th verse. Forgiveness attracts the mercy of the Lord. So King Prithu abundantly worshipped the lotus feet of the Lord, who was so merciful to him. While worshipping the lotus feet of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj gradually increased his ecstasy in devotional service. Something very beautiful going to happen here. Stay alert. Text number 20. So, let's read the verse also. Prasthana bhavimukopi nenam anugraha vilambitaha pashyan padma pala saksho na prataschate suhratsata. Before we go into the translation or the verse, I want you to think on one point and then we'll take this verse. How many of you ever wondered, is Krishna pleased by my devotional service? How many of you ever wondered? I'm rendering devotional service. Is Krishna being pleased by my devotional service? Please raise your hand if you have ever thought like this. अबे तुम बाकी कर क्या रहे हो फिर? बाकियों ने सोचा ही नहीं. मतलब कृष्ण नहीं तो गुरु के बारे में सोचा. How many of you ever thought, okay, Guru Guranga, okay, you're not Krishna, Guru Guranga. I mean, otherwise, what are you doing here? Okay, so how do you know? Please do not. This was answers. Very beautiful. So here, don't look at the verse. Stay focused. So Lord Vishnu came on his Garuda, brought Indra, instructed Prithu Maharaj, reconciled the conflict. Prithu Maharaj agrees. Indra falls at the feet of Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj embraces. The conflict is over. Vishnu's job is over. Vishnu should return. But see, something happened in text number 20. Vishnu did not return. Vishnu decided to stay back. For what? Text number 20. The Lord was just about to leave. But because he was so greatly inclined toward the behavior of King Prithu. What behavior of King Prithu? What behavior of King Prithu? He did not argue. He did not justify his action, why I wanted to kill Indra. Imagine if you have been told something. What is our first response? We want to protect our ego. अरे आपको नहीं पता इंद्रा ने क्या क्या किया. मेरा कोई इंद्रा से द्वेष नहीं था. मैं कोई इंद्रा से गुस्सा नहीं करता. मैं तो शांति से बैठ के यज्ञ कर रहा था. ये तो इंद्र ने चोरी करी तो मुझे धर्म की स्थापना के लिए मुझे इंद्र को मृत्युदंड देना पड़ा. You see that how will he justify? He did not justify, did not argue. He just simply accepted. Therefore I said we have to have somebody in our life to whom we can say yes sir. Otherwise we cannot rise above our ego. We cannot rise above bodily consciousness. That was the behavior of King Prithu. He immediately, how difficult must be for King Prithu to let go of his attachment to 100th Yajna, which for all the time to come in the history he would be glorified. That one mortal being on this planet Earth could could perform 100 Ashwamedh Yajna. And this is something which cannot be repeated. ऐसे नहीं कि ठीक है अभी मैटर सेटल कर लेते हैं बाद में देखेंगे. Not like that, just not going to happen. The Brahma and Vishnu saying you're not doing it. It's not that he can try some delay tactic. There's no diplomacy or delay tactic here. Nothing. So that was the behavior of King Prithu. As a result of it, what did Lord Vishnu do? He did not depart. Seeing the behavior of Maharaj Prithu with his lotus eyes, he was detained because he is always the well-wisher of his devotees. Surat Satam. Then text number 21. Translation directly. The original king Maharaj Prithu, his eyes full of tears and his voice faltering and choked up, could neither see the Lord very distinctly nor speak to address the Lord in any way. He simply embraced the Lord within his heart, remained standing in that way with folded hands. I mean, there is a silent, scene here. Vishnu has spoken. Vishnu is silent. Prithu want to say something but he is so much overwhelmed by the emotion, he is not able to say anything. So something is going on. Prabhupada has a beautiful purpose. Please read out like this. This is about the king Prithu. That's how Prabhupada focuses. Text number 22, the last verse for today. The Supreme Personality Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaj Prithu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus the king offered the following prayers. Bhagavat. This is almost similar to what happened with Krishna trying to leave for Dwarka. Uttara came, then after that, as we see the sequence, of course the sequence is not like that in Mahabharata, but because directly point, Kunti came, and who stopped actually? For whom did Krishna decide to stay back? Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira came and he did not offer some prayers and all that, he just requested, my dear Prabhu, if you leave, what will happen to me? And Lord stayed. Overwhelmed by the bhakti and devotion of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Similarly, overwhelmed by the devotion of bhakti of Prithu Maharaj, Lord decided to stay. Purport. The significant point in this was that the Lord was standing over the ground, almost touching it. The residents of the upper planetary system, beginning from Brahma Loka down to Swarga Loka, are so advanced in spiritual life that when they come to visit this or similar other lower planetary systems, they keep their weightlessness. This means that they can stand without touching the ground. Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Person Godhead. Okay, those are details. And the main point, the 6th or 7th last line of the purport. Out of affection for Prithu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down, since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground. These are all the symptoms of great affection for Prithu Maharaj. For the sake of Prithu Maharaj, he came down from the Garuda, his carrier, almost as if he's standing on the earth. But he's not standing, he's not touching. And just to balance himself, he has put one of his hand on the shoulder of Garuda. All of this has been done out of affection for Prithu Maharaj. These are all symptoms of his great affection for Prithu Maharaj. Perceiving this fortunate position, Prithu Maharaj could not fully look upon the Lord due to ecstasy, but still in a faltering voice, he began to offer prayers. And these are fantastic prayers. This we'll see maybe in the week of Janmashtami, because that's the time we'll again connect. And it could be good to discuss that time to prepare our consciousness for receiving Krishna. So, few points. The devotional service rendered by Prithu Maharaj or his conduct or behavior was such, the Krishna or Vishnu reciprocated with his devotional service or with his devotion. So, I've already discussed that. So in other words, the few lessons from here, we need to prioritize our association and hearing over material advancement if we want to receive Krishna's mercy. And other thing, we should also crave for associating with advanced devotees more than material or any other advancement. That's the whole idea. In other words, if we intensify our devotional service, then we'll have reciprocation from Krishna. Krishna will become attracted to our devotional service, just like he became attracted to devotional service of Prithu Maharaj. And the key point was, he was so impressed by his Gunashila. What was the Gunashila? What was the word? 16th was Gunashila Vaya Gulashila Yamtritaha. He was so captivated by the quality of Prithu Maharaj. With that, we'll pause here. So, Prithu Maharaj will start offering prayers from text number 23. We'll see it next time. Oh, I closed my this thing. Take care, because I don't need that. Just to quickly recap this discussion. So, in today's discussion, we saw the concluding verses, instructions of Vishnu to Prithu Maharaj. In text number 16, Lord Vishnu clarified for all the time to come what pleases him. More than your tapasya, yajna, yoga, what pleases Vishnu? Yes, your behavior, your attitude, your character, good qualities. And then, what was it? That was 16th. The 15th verse spoke about follow the bona fide authorities. We need to follow. And then his good conduct. And then 17th verse talks about immediate forgiveness. Prithu Maharaj accepted. And in text number 18, he immediately forgave Indra. And we saw the greatness of Indra, how he was willing to fall at the feet of Prithu Maharaj, although nobody spoke to Indra. Although it seems like Prithu was mistaken, but Indra realized his mistake, and that was his greatness. We all can deeply reflect if he would have ever done like that. It was his greatness, although nobody appointed, he was intelligent enough to understand the mistake was not of Prithu. Prithu acted because I acted like that. I instigated Prithu, it's my mistake. He fell at the feet of Prithu Maharaj, and how did Prithu Maharaj respond? Prithu Maharaj also let go of all his anger and envy towards Indra. Why? Because Indra took a humble position. So Prabhupada used to say, it's very easy to please Vaishnavas. Just take a humble position. Just go and offer obeisances. Vaishnavas say, okay, Prabhu, no problem. Galti ho jati hai, aapse bhi ho gayi, koi baat nahi. We forgive. Let's mend it. But if you do it in your own, what do you say, Amitabh Bachchan style, okay? Galti ho gayi hai. मान लिया, चलो आगे चलते हैं. तो इस स्टाइल में करोगे, गॉडफादर स्टाइल में. So there can be no change. And from verse 19 to 22, how did Vishnu responded to Prithu's devotion? He decided to stay back just to spend some more time with Prithu Maharaj. And Prithu Maharaj ahead will offer some beautiful prayers. Hare Krishna. Pause here. Any questions, any comments? Yes, Mother, Shyamavalaji. Anything on anyone online? We can take it. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was a very nice class and very beautiful points you explained. This behavior that Prithu Maharaj has shown is an ideal behavior, but when we kind of go ahead in our material life and when we deal with material people, is it expected that we show such a behavior? Because sometimes,
No, again, we are taking this out of context. Indra was not a mundane person.
Yes.
This was a discussion amongst devotees. At least let's begin to practice amongst devotees. When it comes to dealing with public at large, Prabhupada very clearly draws a line. You cannot be meek and humble with them. You cannot allow them to exploit you. So that's the point. So you have to act accordingly. You have to protect your interest, self-interest, which means your bhakti. You cannot allow people to cheat you. That cannot happen. Oh no, because I need to be meek and humble. That doesn't work like that. If that was the case, then Krishna would not have asked Arjuna to fight. He would have said, be meek and humble. Just like Yudhishthir had asked Arjuna to give up his Gandiva bow, if you remember the scene from Mahabharata. And then Arjuna had taken a vow, if somebody would ever dare to ask me to give up my bow, I'll kill him. And then Arjuna had to kill him because he had taken a vow. Arjuna interfered. Why did Arjuna protect Yudhishthira? If that was the case, then he should have protected Duryodhana also, na? Dronacharya also, because samaham sarvabhuteshu, I do not envy anyone. But no, there's a difference because, they were materialistic and this is under devotee. So Krishna interfered. We see that from Krishna interfering, behaving differently. All right? Yeah. Okay. Nothing from here. You have a question, Govinda? Yeah, please go ahead.
So, Prabhuji, we say that in the conversation between Arjuna and Krishna, so Arjuna did question the Lord. He didn't, agree. Even after accepting Krishna as spiritual master, still the talk was going on, in spite of a tense situation where both of them were not having a time. Neither Lord Krishna nor
So
Arjuna.
your question is, Arjuna asked questions.
So now Arjuna asked questions. He clarified things. Maybe I would not say argument, but nothing more.
So the point here is, Arjuna continued to ask question, but eventually he understood, right?
Eventually he understood. That's
correct.
Agreed.
And then what he said eventually, I will do whatever you say. So you can say Arjuna accepting क्या कहते हैं, Krishna as a spiritual master, as his teacher in that way, is the very initial part of the relationship. Now I accepted you as my teacher. Now I am giving you the right to instruct me, teach me. Now when the instruction has been given, now I have some point of time in my life I say I have to say, na? Yes, I do it. Are we going to take the context of Arjuna Krishna Samvad, which happened for 45 minutes on the very beginning of battlefield, that I am going to do it like this for the rest of my life? Because Arjuna asked and clarified. Even what is the point of clarification if we still can't do it? If we still can't follow it, because we still put our head into it. Point is, again, with great care, attention and with great respect. And the whole point is, because Arjuna had that level of respect, the conversation ended in 45 minutes, chapter over, I'll follow as it is. Our conversation never ends. That's okay. At a Kanishta stage, that's fine. But at least clarify and do it, na? Just to act whimsically and independently. Something has been told to do it. No, we'll not do it like this. On the face you see it, okay. Then again, and we have seen it again and again, this kind of mistakes happen. We just had an example. We went to Vella, right? No, Vella ni why? And we had the prasadam issue, where I categorically mentioned the prasadam had to be put in the car. Everything was done. We reached there. There's no prasadam. 10 o'clock in the night we have to start cooking, because we have not eaten since morning, because whatever was our brunch, evening prasadam, was not put into the car, because somebody decided to unnecessarily interfere and change the course of discussion. And I asked the team, I said, when something like this happened, you should have called and checked with me, when I've already said, why you have to listen to the middleman unnecessarily? He may or may not know the whole picture. And although that person is not coming and all of us have to remain hungry, 10 o'clock cooking started something, or 10 o'clock after we started eating, so much time got wasted, the whole plan got changed, so much trouble like that. So we have this bad habit, what to do? We have to interfere, we have to speak. So people who speak often cannot listen. Why they speak? They speak only they think they know, na? Only then they will speak. Yes or no? So first thing is, listening ability. That we should check for ourselves, if we have that. To say that, no, I am speaking only to clarify. You have to see, is that really happening all the time? All right. Madan Sundari Subhadra.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes.
Wonderful and very practical sessions you are giving, Prabhuji. It's really helping a lot. I was listening to your session yesterday. I was not able to attend in person. But Prabhuji, I got a very beautiful insight that sometimes when we are facing this issue with the superior, so at that time we need some opinion from outside of the box. So Prabhuji, sometimes what happens, like if we have been treated in a certain way and then we decide to take a humble position very consciously, we understand maybe the decision that comes is having its own pros and cons. So we don't argue with that and we accept it. And when we take a humble point also, that okay, we step back and but that is taken sometimes in a negative way as arrogance, that we are trying to that we are trying to be very advanced and all those things, and these things come from the superior. So Prabhuji, how to deal with this? Because now we have heard from you that as Prithu Maharaj took a humble step and he took a step behind. So we also sometimes do that. We take a step behind so that this thing should not escalate. But the superior take it as an arrogance and they think that we are withdrawn. withdrawing from our services because we cannot handle inferior positions or something like that.
Correct. So these
how
are,
do we
yeah,
deal with this?
yeah, these,
And we are not in a position to communicate with the superiors because we again feel that we might commit Vaishnava. We are very conscious about that.
yeah.
How do we deal with it?
So first thing is, you will, or anyone in your situation will continue to face trouble if you don't have at least even this much relationship that you can have a conversation with a senior. That itself is a troubled relationship. So if something like this, first of all, there never should be a situation where you cannot go and discuss. Whatever it is, we discuss. At least you should be willing. Why we fear to discuss is because the other person may say something which I may not be able to follow. That is the one reason.
Yes, Prabhuji, that becomes generalized then. They generalize in the lecture and they point you out if you say something. So I don't consider it healthy. Like we are
yeah, so in that case, so the senior has to grow. Senior has to improve.
So how do we communicate that? Because we are not in that position.
So then Matra Spasha Sukanteya Shitoshna Sukadukada Agama Paino Nitya Stam Stitaksho Bharata. That is the first thing Krishna said.
Tolerate.
You got to tolerate. We cannot be in favorable situation all the time. Give a benefit of doubt, give some space to the other person to also grow and understand. And maybe he'll hear some seminar, some lecture on this topic, or he'll hear from his own seniors. Then he will realize, okay, maybe not this way, that way we have to do it. We all are improving, that's okay, like that. And please know, as you think you might have to tolerate them, somebody else is also tolerating us. So this world is it functions only on the principle of tolerance. So,
yes, so that happens definitely, like when we are,
but healthy relationship, correct. But the key point is,
our mind is in a state of agitation.
So for that, another thing is, correct. So another thing that we have is a system of a mentor. So that mentor, ideally, mentors should not be engaging devotees in services. Mentor should only act as a spiritual inspiration. So that, generally conflict happens primarily with service engagement, things like related to that. So if mentor acts into that way, so then he can act as a bridge or as a grease between you and your, friction that have occurred with the senior in terms of what you should do or not do. So he can bring the perspective. So we can have that person in our, so something like this we have to have in a community, just like, I'm just going to formalize today only. I've already announced it. Like we are launching a system of ombudsman. What is ombudsman? We have allotted a family, one particular family, who's going to have an office hours, going to have email and phone number. And now they will have, so every member of a community would have an opportunity to express their concerns, feedback, whatever they want to inform about anyone, about their Vaishnava relationship, about their concerned senior, about their conflict and whatnot. And all of that will be done anonymously. And that information will go to this particular congregation who will handle the service. And if it is about Vaishnavas in the community, then that would be escalated to the leadership. If it is about leadership, then it will be escalated to a person appointed above the leadership, so that this kind of situation or concerns can be handled. So we are launching it here now, and our plan is to introduce in other communities also. Like that, so that helps our communities to communicate better. All right? These are some of the practical things can be done. In other words, in that situation, in that way the leader has to be strong enough and humble enough to receive the feedback, because not too many feedback is going to float. Here and there, so many things going to happen. Okay? So nonetheless, so there are some thoughts onto it. So we should try to have at least a relationship where we can communicate. And the only reason why we fear to communicate is we may not be able to follow what the other person says. So then we have to think, maybe we have to find some relationship. Because why it has to be like that we cannot follow. Because if we call a senior, somebody as a senior, we can only communicate with confidence when we are humble enough to follow whatever he says. Because otherwise communication cannot happen. Because when you're going to communicate, the other person will give you suggestions. Then we have to be humble enough to accept the suggestion. If you're willing to take that humble role, relationship will improve. Otherwise communication will not work out. With that, I'll pause here. It's around 9:15. Madam Vidhavni, you have written your question, or you have a quick question?
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yeah, yes,
Really
Madam.
helps.
Hare Krishna. So discussing, that was all of you to respond on that. What do you think? What should be the conduct? What should be our response? That was the only thing. Achha, responses are in chat. Okay, so we'll take a look at it. I believe all of you can figure out the answer for it, how it should be. Anyone has a doubt on it? So the point is, should we give in or should we remain adamant? The answer is, we should follow. And this particular in Vaishnava, if he's your peer, then you can work it out, bring another senior and get some settlement. If he's your senior, then better to follow. Why? Just respecting the culture of Vaishnavism, and there's a request that has come from a senior, although it may look like I am compromising my interest, so be it, at least he'll be pleased. Because here we are to please, not to prove results. Okay, if I get results, I'll be pleasing another set of seniors who's expecting results from it. Okay, then clarify from those seniors what should be done. But idea is, Vaishnava culture has to be given prominence. Not my results, my rituals like that. That happens a lot at Kanishta for that. Alright, thank you very much. Jai Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So the prayers will take it after, I believe, Balaram Jayanti probably, right? That week. So that will be the Janmashtami week. So that's the time we'll take prayer wala section. Thank you very much. So fellas, just 2 minutes if you can pause here. Just want to quickly, 2 minutes. Is it over online?